Like geddytrey on stuff, whooshy gives a proper reaction.
And now for something completely different.
Drill Gang LP fans in the Bazilding. Bazilding? Who says? Lost. As I clearly am, as many of us are. Without further ado, hopefully the CCs work. If not, can always get him up on the ode top lap. Let's go. The dilemma of whether or not to pause within the first 5 seconds is something that I'm pretty sure plagues every single reactor that has ever boarded this planet. However, how am I not meant to? As a hip hop fan, I hear those trap drums instantly. Trap drums. What am I talking about? Little snares, little hi hats. You hear that, and all of a sudden, this track's gonna go a little differently. Did you guys give me a rap one? Because I thought it was going to be a sad one.
Just a scar somewhere.
Oh, don't start like that, Chezzy. Chezzy boy. Chezza-ta-ta. Don't start like that. Just a scar. Please don't do that. Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta take it there? I was gonna say I'm interested to find out if that's a loop because it did that. It had that kind of melody, and it repeated at the end of the 8-bar. So I was interested to see if that was going to be a loop. And then Chezity came in, and Chezita ruined me. Thanks very much.
Just a scar somewhere down inside of me. Something I cannot repair, even though it will always be. I pretend it isn't there. I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is all I know. And I'll never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion. Lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion. But I'm tired.
I feel like now I know. Oh God! And then again, but it's obviously meant to, evoke emotions of sadness. I see what they're trying to do to me. That's the bit where he says, in a sense of confusion, and obviously that's at the end of the 8-bar. So there's a reason why that was put as the chorus. And then that being repetitive, it's the repetitive notion of feeling lost. Do you know what I mean? Like you're in a labyrinth. You can get to a point where you feel like, oh, I've cracked it, and then it's another dead end, and you don't know whether to go left or right again. Now you've got to start all over again. I really like that chorus. I feel like the verse was a bit short though.
I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is
Trapped in
all
yesterday.
I know.
Yeah, so trapped in yesterday, and then Mike saying, just a memory. Trapped in yesterday, just a memory. Back in the day, they used to say that reminiscing or the feeling of nostalgia was an illness. I think I've said that before, or I've mentioned it in a previous reaction. But yeah, they used to say that it was like a sign of madness. It was something that they treated patients for. It was a sickness to be nostalgic, to live in the past. because it's almost, it is almost like a forced sadness, you know? There are a lot of people that live in the past and not in a good way. I don't know many people that live in the past in a good way. Maybe the Amish. I don't know. But yeah, the feelings of nostalgia, but it's something that's over and over again. Because often, I don't know if you find the same, but I do. Often, sometimes it's like a smell or hearing a song. You know, and then you're transported back to a particular memory or a particular feeling, a particular time period. You're transported back there, and you're not in control of well, I suppose you are ultimately, but sometimes initially you're not in control of like what feelings and emotions that drums up when you're encountered with those nostalgic feelings. You're not always in control of how it makes you feel. So, you know, one would argue that that's the point of not being nostalgic, is to get those under control and feel good about them. So then, when even if you are nostalgic, you don't feel bad. But I don't know how to do that.
I'm trapped in yesterday, where the pain is all I know, and I'll never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion. But I'm tired, I will always be afraid of the damage I've received, broken promises they made.
That's mad. I will always be afraid of the damage I've received. I can relate to that, bro. Especially being a parent, being somebody who, as a child, was beaten relentlessly from a very early age for well over a decade. You know, nothing you can do, nobody to tell, cooped up inside the yard all the time, you know. And having children, I was always afraid of, like, because I didn't know a better way. I didn't know what the correct way is. You know, monkey see, monkey do. You know, as an adult, I know now, you know, that's not the case. You can break a cycle. You don't have to be beholden to your past. But you know, it used to like keep me up at night and like stop me from enjoying things whenever I think about that. And then I'd have to say to my partner, like, almost needing like reassurance, like let me know that I'm not that guy. Do you know what I mean? Just needing to know that she could never see it in me. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what I'm capable of doing. Do you know what I mean? But it always plagues my mind that I need to be different to them. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. That's just hit me, bro. I'm afraid of the damage I've received. Because usually you'd think like I'm afraid of the damage I can do, and whilst that is the case, it's because of the damage received. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been in the supermarket before. Somebody's clipped the back of my heels or something, and I've turned round on a mad one. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Going crazy at somebody. And it's not until like hours after where I'm like, I'm a dickhead. This is some like past trauma that I'm trying to deal with. Like, nobody's stepping on my toes kind of shit. It's something that I'm dealing with from back in the day, and I felt like a dick, you know. I don't like that happens, but it's got to be good that, you know, I'm consciously aware of things that I do. I suppose, to a degree. I don't know. I'm just human. You know what I mean? I don't know. Half of the time, I don't know what I feel, let alone why. But I don't know why. And that's that psychotic thing, Brev, why I can't even listen to music without knowing the reason behind it. To be in my head is to be in the eye of a fucking tornado, Brev.
Of the damage I've received, broken promises they made, and how blindly I believed. I will never break away, 'cause when I'm alone, I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I try to keep this pain inside, but I will never be alright. I'm lost in these memories, living behind my own illusion, lost all my dignity, living inside my own confusion.
Lost all of my dignity living inside my own confusion. That could be like scared to get close to people because you're afraid to hurt them. Do you know what I mean? Or being scared of being close to somebody because you're afraid that they will hurt you too. I've struggled with this for my whole life, you know. If the people that are genetically predetermined to love you don't love you, then who will? Do you know what I mean? Chester Charles Bennington. A very good track. The Linkin Park tracks, man. It's what's it called? Esoteric? Is that the word for it? Or is it just meta? There's a surface level. There's what's being said, and then there's what's not being said, and then there's what's being said. Not what's being said, but what's being said. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. There's it's just a lot of thinking and knowing that Chester had a similar upbringing to myself is often makes me think of things I don't really want to think about. Do you know what I mean? So, Linkin Park, Lost. Yeah, a very good song. I don't feel like the sort of bouncy, clubby 808 bass was the right way to go with a track like this. This track is it's very, 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 very personal, you know. I feel like maybe if they'd have gone more with piano, it may have evoked even more emotion. Do you know what I mean? It felt a little bit too boppy at times for the subject matter that's within it. But other than that, it was a good song. Vocals shine through. Mike didn't really have that much of a presence, but the little ad-libs that he did come in with were nice and tasteful, you know. Didn't take away from Chester's voice too much, so a decent track, you know. But yeah, more for the lyrics than the instrumentation, which is weird for Linkin Park because they usually smash it, but this one was a bit too boppy for what it was talking about. So yeah, and for that reason, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna give this a cold 6 out of 10, and we'll move on to the next one. Let's go.